If you're like us, you've dreamt of building your own business empire and the freedom it can bring you. But with hidden challenges along the way, it forces us to answer the hard questions like, how do we grow a real company without taking on debt? Or how can we get leads and buyers when there's so much competition out there? That's why tens of thousands of people have joined OneFunnelAway.com to get those questions answered. And now they're walking a new path of entrepreneurship. I asked some of them about their shocking journey from failure to freedom. I'm your host, Shane Larson, and you're listening to One Funnel Away Stories. What's up, everybody? Welcome out to the One Funnel Away Stories podcast. I am your host, Shane Larson, the acting One Funnel Away manager here at Clickfunnels. I've been with the One Funnel Away Challenge since September of 2018 when we launched it. So I've been here for the entire evolution of the One Funnel Away Challenge, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the great, I should say, because we've had some amazing stories, amazing success stories come through from One Funnel Away in the past, I guess, almost 3 years now. And it's been amazing. And that's why we love this podcast. I love having the opportunity to speak to different guests who have come through the One Funnel Away Challenge and seen the success after they've implemented the teachings. And, you know, some have earned their One Comma Club Awards, which is earning at least $1,000 through their sales funnels. And we want you guys, the listeners who are out there, we believe that these customers are just like yourselves, like people who have businesses or a vision, and they want to come into this to better themselves, better their businesses, and then they see the success. So we know that you guys can learn from them as well. So that's why we bring them on. And today's no different. We're blessed to be joined by Ethan King. And Ethan, I'm excited to have you on the show, man. So thank you so much for joining us, brother.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm happy to be here, Shane.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if anybody needs advice, I had to take some advice from Ethan before we started recording on his camera setup, man. It's really professional. So if you're listening to this audio version, obviously that's where it's coming out at, but we're recording it via video right now. And Ethan's got it down, man. He just taught me something. I've been podcasting for over 4.5, 5 years for my own stuff, and I didn't even know the stuff he just showed me right now. I'm like, wow. So the guy's got some knowledge. So Ethan, tell me a little bit about your business real quick. Like, before you took One Funnel Away, talk to us about your business ventures and kind of what you did and what made you decide to take One Funnel Away when you did.
Yeah, fantastic. So I've been an entrepreneur actually for almost 18 years now, full-time entrepreneur. But my business, my day-to-day, I call it my day job, is has nothing to do with like a digital information product or really the type of funnels that we talk about in One Funnel Away. I run Zeus's Closet. It's a custom embroidery store. We have 2 locations in the Atlanta area. I also have another company called Stuff for Greeks. We make fraternity and sorority merchandise. We're one of the biggest players in that market, stuffforgreeks.com. So I've been doing this a long time, but those businesses are very manual. So every time we get an order, we have to fulfill that order.
Right.
Which means, you know, I have about a dozen employees right now. But we have to have someone actually make the jacket when somebody orders a jacket and do the embroidery and ship it out. In my stores, we have to have people running the stores. So it's a very manually intensive business. Now, I love it. It's a great business. It provides a nice lifestyle for me and my family. You know, we do well over 7 figures a year. But I had been hearing about I read Expert Secrets a few years ago, .com Secrets, you know, all of Russell's books. And I just have been hearing about these digital information products, and they have just been in the back of my head. And I said, well, one day I'm going to do something. I'm going to put a course out. I'm going to move away from the manual labor into more of the digital realm and free up my life a bit. But I had just never done it. And then of course, 2020 hit. And, you know, we all had more free time on our hands.
Oh yeah.
So, and it was scary. Like I had to, one of my businesses, we have 2 retail stores. So we had to close our retail stores temporarily. And it was scary because we didn't know, would we be able to reopen? Colleges closed, and we do a lot in the fraternity and sorority space. You know, we make custom wardrobe for film and TV. They had stopped filming, and everything just came to a halt, and it was like super scary. I'm sure that's not news for anyone. It was scary for a lot of people. But what happened is I due to the stress of everything that was going on in the world, I put on weight, you know, as we say, the COVID-19 pounds, right?
Yeah.
So, and I kind of pride myself on being in good shape, a physically fit guy. If you go back to my journey, I was overweight. I had asthma as a kid. I couldn't run. And so it's not like I was just genetically in shape. I didn't do anything fitness wise until age 30, when my brother taught me into running this race, like a 10K. But I went to the doctor, and the doctor said that my visceral fat levels were high. And visceral fat is that belly fat, which is directly linked to cardiovascular disease. So that really scared me. And the doctors, like, it was this real high-tech place out in Southern California. And they hooked me up to this treadmill and all this stuff to my heart, a heart rate monitor, and taught me how to do fitness in a way where I get my visceral fat levels down. Like, that was the focus. So as a side effect of me trying to preserve my health, I ended up with this nice chiseled six pack that I always wanted anyway. Right.
Right. Okay.
So I remember, so that was years ago. That was probably back in like 2013 or so. But I remembered the formula on how to get back in shape. And, it was like step by step, like boom, boom, boom. So when I saw that I had gained this weight during the pandemic, I said, you know what? I'm going to get back in shape, even though I don't really have anything to motivate me. I'm not going anywhere. There's no beach vacation coming up for me to prepare for. I needed something to spark me. And I was like, you know what? I know what to do. I'm going to motivate myself to get in shape. And I did it. And I was very proud of myself. So I was feeling myself one day, and I posted this like before and after photo on Instagram. And, friends started messaging me offline and hitting me up like, hey man, what's your routine? How do you do that? Like, what are you eating? And I'm getting all these messages. Like, I was surprised. I thought to myself, doesn't everybody know how to get in shape if they want to get in shape? They're just choosing to do it or not. Right. But to my surprise, they were really asking me for help. So one friend, I just sat down and typed up my whole routine, like a day in the life type thing. And I said, here, man, here's what I do. And I gave it to him, and he didn't do anything with it. I gave it to a few people. Nobody took action. And that's when my brain went back to expert secrets. And I was like, I need to figure out a way to package this so that people will actually take action and do something with it. Right. So I started exploring all of these different ways, these online course platforms. I'm like, okay, well, what should I do? Should I do a PDF? Should I write a book? Like, what's the best way to make someone take action? And I was obsessed, and I still am, with like gamification. And how do you make it fun? How do you make it rewarding? How do you get those dopamine hits for actually doing something that's good for you? So you become addicted to something that's good for you. So long story short, I came up with this concept, call it Six Pack Dads, because I'm a dad. I'm a busy entrepreneur. I'm 42 years old, and I have two kids. I got employees. I don't have time to go to the gym, but I have a six pack. I figured out the formula to do it in less than 35 minutes a day, once you get the pattern down, and it's teachable. And I said, okay, this is what Russell's talking about. If you have a framework that's formulaic and it's teachable, package it in a way to help other people. And honestly, it just consumed my thoughts at the end of last year, at the end of 2020. And like, I literally spent like the whole holiday season, which is very busy. It was our busiest holiday season, thank God, in my day-to-day business. But at night, I was up all night building out this funnel. And that's where One Funnel Away came in. It was very helpful.
Wow, super cool. First things first, let's unbox a few things that you said there as I'm sitting there taking mental notes. As a father of two myself, like I totally understand. I actually took the whole last year, like I was way overweight. And then the pandemic hit, and I had this like aha moment. I actually spoke on my other show that I do outside of ClickFunnels in my business. I do a sports podcast, and I actually interviewed Bruce Buffer from the UFC. He's the announcer for the UFC, for anyone listening who understands that. But what he said was, and it was during the pandemic, he was saying, he's getting in the best shape he possibly can. That's what he's working on during the pandemic, because he wants to keep his body healthy for if there is a virus out there, it's important to keep your body healthy. And that like clicked to me. I'm like, we ain't going anywhere. So I'm either going to sit here at home and work from home and eat, or I can sit and work from home and try to do the right things and get my body moving. And that's when I actually had a click last year as well. And that's when I dropped 40 pounds in 2020. I love this. And I'm still trying to like maintain that and keep with it. And so that's why I'm super impressed with what you said. The other thing you mentioned as well was gamification. I'm so intrigued. I think you're spot on, Ethan, especially with the weight loss space. You assume that people know what they're doing, but unfortunately they don't. They get overwhelmed with so much information, right? There's just so much information out there. They don't know what to even do with it. They don't know where to start. So it's up to like packaging it the right way to be able to help them. And I actually go to a gym here locally in Boise, Idaho called Black Box VR and gamification. If anyone listens, you can go check that out as well. It's kind of it's the coolest gym I've ever been to in the first place because it's a VR battle arena and you're lifting, and it's the heaviest lift, most intense 30-minute lift I've ever done in my entire life. I do it 3 days a week because you're doing cable weights, but they gamified it. When you say gamification, like you have to have that dopamine, that addiction kind of thing. And that's what got me. I'm the furthest thing from a gamer you'll ever see in your life. Like I like sports. I don't care about video games, but that type of a thing, it clicked. And so when somebody came into the same space that I've been in my entire life, I understand fitness and nutrition, but if you can come in there and package something just a little differently to catch the eye and help people out, they'll catch on. And I think that's really cool. You started setting yourself apart. And rather than being the same as everybody, you started saying, okay, how can I package this in a way that really helps out? And then you got a catchy little title, Six Pack Dads, right? That's freaking dope. I love that. So going into this, when did you take the One Funnel Away challenge? Do you have these ideas and you've read expert secrets? You're an entrepreneur of 18 plus years. You've already got this experience of running businesses, but how did you even come across the One Funnel Away challenge? Because you had already read the books. Was it just an ad, or did you follow it on social media, or what?
Yeah, so I joined a bunch of Facebook groups about designing an online course. I figured, well, let me just get out there and talk to people and just immerse myself in the culture. And I kept seeing messages pop up like, take one funnel away, one funnel away. And I'm like, what is One Funnel Away challenge? So I Googled it and I was like, oh God, Russell again, like Russell's everywhere. And I read the page and I was like, this is exactly what I need. Because I need a kick in the pants. I heard a great quote the other day. It said, you don't need more time. You need a deadline. Because we can always, when we have a goal, we can always say, oh, once I have more time, I'll accomplish that. I'll do that thing. No, you just need a deadline. So I said, okay, 30 days. I read the description. Every day you get a new mission. And by the end of this thing, you have something built. I was like, boom, sign me up. So that was November of last year, November 2020, when I took One Funnel Away. And then, and I know we'll get more into about like the challenges I ran into within One Funnel Away. But after it was done, I spent December building out the initial part of the course of Six Pack Dads, because I wanted to have it ready for that New Year's launch, because everybody wants to get in shape at New Year's.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't build out the entire 6 week. It's a 6-week course. I just built out like the first few modules, and I built out the sales page and everything, and I followed the perfect webinar script, and I had my webinar at the end of like around Christmas time. I had my first webinar, got my first signups, and it launched the first Monday of 2021.
Wow. Okay, that's awesome. That is super cool. And you did. I've said it before. Like if you click on a Russell ad or anything, he's everywhere. Like you'll never get rid of him. Yeah. So like it's funny. You say he's there. There's Russell again. That's effective marketing right there. I'll tell you. Oh yeah. Can't get rid of him once you've clicked on anything.
Hey, we should all learn from that, right?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. People who want to complain about it, I'm like, listen, you figure out the recipe. You click on a YouTube ad, he's popping up on Facebook. He's all over the place. Yeah. Heck, you might be scrolling through it. Like I'll be going through like a supplement thing to go buy sups for next month's supplement routine, like protein powder or whatever, and there's like ClickFunnels ads on there. It's like what? Like they've got it. They know how to retarget. It's funny. So you go in there in November of 2020, right? November of 2020 is when you come into the challenge, and you had this idea and you're building this out. First things first, Ethan, what were the initial thoughts that you had when you got into the challenge? You were excited, I'm sure. Like you're like, okay, I got this deadline now. This is exactly what I need. But what were your initial thoughts like a couple days into it when you got in there? Did you feel like this is what you needed? Or were you kind of still like, were you almost like, okay, this is way too much at once?
No, it was exactly what I needed. And I love how we started out with the mindset and just, being prepared to invest a couple of hours a day. I think they even used the fitness analogy, like treat it like working out. Like you're going to devote an hour to a day to getting in shape. So I knew I needed to get in shape in this way of putting out a digital product. The only hiccup I had was, like a lot of entrepreneurs, I'm very I suffer from shiny object syndrome.
Yeah.
So I had a bunch of different ideas. I had this fitness product, Six Pack Dads, that I wanted to build, but I have my current businesses, which are already running and already need my attention. So I felt a little guilty for even wanting to do something. I even talked to my business coach about it. And he was like, really, you want to start a fitness product? I mean, come on, like you're just suffering from shiny object syndrome. Focus on the goal of growing your business. But something just kept pulling me. What slowed me down is I had like 3 different funnel ideas that I wanted to build, and Six Pack Dads was just one of them. So I took a long time deliberating, and the challenge had started, and I was still kind of bouncing all 3 ideas in my head at one time. So if I could go back, and if I had to give anybody this advice, like before you take the challenge, just decide on one idea. And Russell even talks about it in there, like focus on one funnel until you get it to $1 million in revenue, then focus on the next funnel. And that's really hard for some people to do, especially people like me who I guess I have probably some version of ADD, and I just want to do a bunch of things and I want to do them all at once. But once I finally narrowed it down and said, okay, I'm going to focus on Six Pack Dads, then everything just started unfolding.
And I like that advice. And just so you know, like what you just said, I wouldn't say it's necessarily ADD. I think it's just entrepreneurship. I think when you're in the entrepreneur space, like that's just how it is. I mean, Russell himself will tell you, like working with him, like when I go to the headquarters over here and we're breaking things down, what we come up with this week, next Monday could be completely different because Russell's like, oh no, we're going to do it this way. And that's how he is. Like that's how it's been. That's how ClickFunnels is. Like everyone's like that. So yeah, every entrepreneur, that's just part of the entrepreneur space. You have a million different ideas, but that's what makes entrepreneurs so special is because they have the way, that's how their brain is wired. It's to like think in those ways. Now it's just about like you said, I think compartmentalizing that, especially for the 30-day time frame, like let's just focus on this because for so long we've been doing this, like everything is over here. Now let's just focus on this for this 30 days. And I promise you, like once you do that, you'll set that foundation for the rest of the stuff that you want to put together. I do have a question for you too, then Ethan, you have those other businesses, you're a father, you got a family, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you dedicate that time? How did you prioritize the time to actually, do the missions and take it seriously?
Yeah. I mean, well, fortunately I have a great team at my company. So, my day-to-day involvement isn't as much. Now it was Christmas time. So this is our busiest time of year. So it was tough. But I mean, honestly, I just put in the late nights. I went back to those college days. You put in those all-nighters when you're cramming for a test or whatever. I said, look, I can do anything for a short amount of time. So 30 days, I'm just going to be all in and get this done. And, I just slept faster. As Arnold Schwarzenegger says, if you want to accomplish more in life, sleep faster.
Oh, wow. There we go. I like that. Dropping the Arnold phrase there, but that's so true. And going back to the college days, that's funny.
Yeah.
So you figure out a way to get it done. I try to tell people this, even I try to tell the younger generation this. I coach basketball, and we're talking like high school kids, and I'm always telling them like, you got to do what you got to do to get it done. Sometimes it's not convenient. Sometimes it requires sacrifice, sleep faster, but you got to do what you got to do to get it done. If you're running a couple businesses in the busiest time, regardless if you have a good team or not, I mean, that's still an obligation and a priority. You got to find a way to get it done. But I love how you said it, Ethan. Like it's for a short amount of time. I always tell people in the challenge, I'm trying to remind them, dude, it's 30 days. Like dedicate yourself to something for 30 days. You can do that. Like you can do that. So long as you get the right mindset, just 30 days, just go through it for a month and dedicate yourself to that. And I promise like you'll come out a better person for it. Now, going through the challenge, I'm interested because you just mentioned you have a really good team. A lot of times when I talk to people on this podcast, one of the biggest things that like an aha moment that they have in their business, in their entrepreneurial journey, especially in the One Funnel Away Challenge, is the who, not the how. Like Russell talks so much about finding your who, not the how. You already have figured that piece out in your business journey because you've built out teams to kind of scale for your other businesses. So that's actually really cool because that's for a lot of people, even if they're well-established business owners, they struggle with like scaling and delegating other tasks because it's their baby and they want to be in charge of everything. But I am curious for you, since that seems like something you had already kind of handled. What was one of the missions that kind of stood out to you that was like a ding?
Like an aha moment?
Yeah, like an aha moment, like, oh, wow, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah. Well, even though I am comfortable with the who and delegating, speed is still an issue for me. I tend to be a perfectionist and procrastinate and want things to be perfect. I still suffer from that. But so my main takeaway, my biggest aha from the One Funnel Away is it forces you to just get it done. Done is better than perfect, right?
Right.
So I really love the Plato or Plomo PDF that's in there, because it just gives you all of these ways of just getting something out there quickly and all these ideas. And even, I don't even know if I did something specifically that was in there, but it just sparked all of these ideas in my brain, like PLR. I didn't know anything about PLR. And I forgot what that stands for. You can probably tell you.
I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay.
Either. Yeah.
Well, just Google it. PLR in whatever your subject matter is. It's part of One Funnel Away. But I did an add-on product that was a PLR course, and I got some PLR ebooks, like to supplement the main course. You know, you have your lead magnets and you have your order bumps and stuff. Well, I used PLR for that, and I just kind of spiced it up with my own content. But I didn't know anything about that. But it just gives you speed to market. Like, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. There's so many resources out there, and they just pour it on you in One Funnel Away. So that was my biggest aha on how to shortcut the time period to get to launch.
I dig that. It's private label rights, I think is what it stands for, if I'm not mistaken. Private label rights. I think that's what it is. But that is such a huge one too, because you're not the first one to say that. Like, PLR is like a new concept to a lot of people, but it's like, oh, and I love that mission. I love how Russell has trained that. Anytime I've ever heard him talk about it, because that's during a mission where he talks, it's called the Greatest Showman training. He's done that in different types of formats, whether it be in an event or in a digital course like this. He talks about the Greatest Showman, and he kind of goes through all the different ways you can create quote unquote products with the things that are out there. Like, there's no excuses. Basically what happens there, in my opinion, is like, if you had any excuses before that, like, I can't figure out a way to get a product. After that, like, the Plato Plomo goes along with that. That's the whole process of, like, he trains and he provides that PDF at the same time. There should be no excuses at that point, because it's like, guys, here's the different ways. But that right there just opens up the world, I think. And I think it's cool that it did for you, because it's like, oh, I'm already doing it. Like, for example, audiobooks, for example. So anybody out there writing a book, and even yourself, right? Like, I've got a lot of friends of mine who've written books that, live here in the Valley, where we live in Treasure Valley of Idaho. And I've told them, like, hey, have you ever thought of, like, selling a book for a lower end product, maybe a free plus shipping type of book? And they're like, wait, what? I sell it for $25 on Amazon or whatever. I'm like, but then make that into an audiobook. Just record the audio version of it, right? And have that as a separate product. And you sell that for $47. Not only do you sell your hardcover book, you get them onto your email list, but they're probably going to buy that audiobook for $47. You're going to come out on top anyways. And they're like, oh, like Russell teaches that, like, just simple stuff, So anyways, I geek out with this, and it's cool to hear that was one of your favorite missions. Now, you talked about the hiccup of being, there's a lot of stuff going on. You had a lot of ideas and so forth, but what was one of the other, like, maybe a roadblock that you faced, Ethan, during the One Funnel Away challenge, and how did you overcome it? Like, did you get stuck on any of the missions? And if you did, how did you get through those?
I didn't really get stuck. I did get slowed down again, just with the whole perfectionist stuff. Even though those resources helped me, that still really slowed me down. I got behind a couple of days, and just trying to catch up. So what I did was, I think, like, the last part was about traffic. And I was like, well, okay, I was behind on actually getting my offer done. So I had to finish that because of my day-to-day work. So what I did was I said, okay, well, I have this framework. I'm just going to do the launch, and then I'm going to build the product as I go. So I actually had my first students who actually paid to take my 6-week challenge. They helped me build the course because they gave me feedback. So I had already built out the first few modules. And then as they were taking it, I would record, like, I would be up at night recording the next day's module and then release that. Because I really I was very inspired by the One Funnel Away challenge, not only to help me get my course out there, but also as a format for the course. Because when you have a framework, and this was another big aha, but when you have a framework, there are so many different ways that you can package that framework. I could have put the whole framework in one Facebook post and one Instagram post. Like, okay, here's a checklist of what to do. Or I could take a checklist and make a PDF, and that could be a free lead magnet. I could take that same checklist, that's my framework of my workout, my diet, my routine, my sleep patterns, all of that. I can take that and make it a course. Then I can make it a day-long workshop. Then I can make it a retreat. And then you have these things that go up the value ladder. And that, to me, like, honestly, that has reframed my whole thinking about everything, about all of my businesses. So I even went back and implemented some of this stuff in my current business with the apparel. And now we have online courses and memberships, and I'm building funnels in those as well. So, I mean, this stuff just goes with you throughout life. You can just apply it everywhere in life.
I dig that, man. I see that the opportunities are endless. Once your eyes are open and you see it, and you see how, like, it's not just like a cool idea. Once you actually you experience it too, you're like, oh, it's working. Like, you implement it and it actually works for you. Then you realize you can do it for everything else too. If you got other business ventures, do it for that. It's super, super cool. I like hearing that. And you know, that's one thing I would stress too. It sounds like it's a common theme, and that I think that's just entrepreneurship in general. Like, imperfect action is better than no action, right? So a lot of people are perfectionists. It's just the reality of it. If you're doing something, you want to do it well. And I think that's just the nature of human beings. But when you get the stuff out there, if you keep thinking about it too much and overanalyze something, eventually what happens, and I think a lot of people are guilty of this, it just never gets out there. So get the frameworks out there, like you said, just trying to break through those barriers. And I think once you do break through those barriers, you actually get better at it over time, to where you're super comfortable letting things out there when they're not 100% perfect, but the quality actually does get better over time, I think, because you get so used to just getting the stuff done and launching, and you understand how to do things. So quality actually naturally progresses over time anyways. Here's the deal. So you built the course, which I think was cool that you just said that you built it as you're getting the students to kind of, or the clients to kind of help you build the course with feedback and so forth, which I think is awesome. That is so cool. And then you built it out after the challenge was over. You used December to try to get the rest of it all put together so that you could launch it into 2021. Talk to us about how the launch went. You said you got a couple of clients. How did the launch go? Who did you launch it to? Did you have a list that you sent it out to already? Was it just a Facebook post? Was it a newsletter, or was it kind of like, I'm going to run some ads and see what I can do here?
Yeah, no, it was just organic. Honestly, I just put it on my Instagram page and on my Facebook. That same picture that I posted, like my before and after fitness photo, I just went into the comments and was like, hey, I'm launching this course because so many people have asked me. So just DM me if you're interested. A few people DM me. I put them on the email list. I sent them the webinar, the link to sign up for the webinar. I put some Facebook posts out, just again, organic. I didn't do any paid traffic. So these were all people who kind of knew me. I'm not like close friends, but not like complete strangers either. And I don't remember. I think I got maybe 20 people to the webinar, and half of them signed up. So it was cool, like on the launch.
Oh man. So the webinar too, that is awesome.
It's a 6-week course. You get information distributed to you, like one lesson per day. So it unlocks each day. I'm in your email inbox, just like Russell, like, okay, here's today's mission. Week 1, day 1, week 1, day 2. It goes through the mindset. It goes through the diet. It goes through the workouts. I got the videos and everything in there. Every day you get the work, you get a learning lesson, which is a big component of it. Honestly, most of my students have just raved about the mindset and the learning components, because I want them to understand the science behind why what they're doing actually works and how it burns off the fat in a short amount of time. And then, of course, there's the workouts, there's the meal plan of the day, and then there's the accountability portion. There's you have a homework assignment where you have to turn in your workouts. You have a food diary. This is all through apps and email and stuff. And we actually give feedback on your, like, personalized feedback on your workout, your diet.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. And you mentioned the order bumps too. I'm telling you guys, the funnel process works. The order bumps. Yeah. Stephen Larson, I've always said this. Stephen Larson used to tell us in the headquarters, we'd be eating in the lunchroom. He'd come in there after he was building the funnel with Russell, and he straight up would just say, if you guys are building funnels outside of ClickFunnels and you're building for your own business ventures outside of here, always add an order bump. No funnel should go without an order bump, because it's free money, and it will offset your ad costs in the future too. Like these little things, these little tips that Stephen just knew the psychology of a consumer. Yeah. It's super important. If you can package and actually provide value in those order bumps and the different OTOs or whatever you structure your funnel with, it's so it's the customers don't think like you're scamming them. They don't feel like you're a sales rep. They know that you're providing them with value that's going to actually help them. That's why they're actually paying attention to your funnel in the first place, because they're actually interested in what you're providing them to begin with. So genius. I love to hear that, man. That's a super good launch to start off with. Now, Ethan, going forward, is this something that's automated now? Do you have an automatic, or are you running this every couple, what's your plans now after that first 6 weeks went by and all that stuff? Is it now an automated thing? And how often is this available if it is?
Yeah, so it's semi-automated. So my plan is to eventually make it fully automated and just have, constant traffic running to ads running to it and just an automated funnel. So the with each launch, I get more and more closer to that. So I launch it every 6 weeks, and I try to do it in cohorts so that you have a group of guys who come in and they join the Facebook group and they all can kind of feed off of each other and help each other get in past challenges and kind of egg each other on. And then I also do weekly coaching. Like I do a 30-minute Zoom call once a week just to help anybody if they're having any challenges or roadblocks. So there's a sense of community to it. So that's why I chose to do it in cohorts. So like every 6 weeks, I'll do a new launch because it's a 6-week program. And then, and I tell people transparently, I'm like, and I told my first group, now I do want to make this clear. With my first group, I told them that I'm building this as I go and that they're basically my beta testers. But I called them my founding group, my founders, because I feel like beta, like who wants to be beta, right? It's so much cooler to be a founder. So I said, hey guys, you guys are my founders. This program is going to have imperfections. Like you might get some broken links in some emails because you guys know my story. You know I'm an entrepreneur. You know that I have businesses to run, but I'm doing this to help you guys. So if you see any glitches or anything, I want the feedback, like give it to me. And they were all in, man. They really helped me shape it as I go and make sure that the content was delivering real value to them. And I mean, it got real results. Like people lost 30 pounds in 6 weeks. And I mean, I was just blown away by the results. And so now I'm coming up on, so I've had 2 launches so far, coming up on my 3rd launch next week.
Wow. That is so cool. And I love that. Again, it goes back to what you said. You kind of formatted it after the One Funnel Away challenge. I mean, that is a very, very powerful way to do it. If you put it into cohorts, that's kind of what we do as well. Like you got cohorts, so it's a personalized feel for that specific group. Mm-hmm. Coachings have a community feel to it. Like all the little things like that. That's what we've seen in the One Funnel Away challenge. It's super helpful for the entrepreneurs, but for you in the fitness space and trying to live healthy lifestyles, that's a huge, powerful tool. I love how you're structuring that. Now, I want to know, this is your opportunity, Ethan. Like, tell us where we can find this. Like, so it's Six Pack Dads, but what's the website? Where can we find you? Is there any social media outlets that we can find you and find more information about this?
Yeah, fantastic. If you want to hack my funnel, check it out. It's at sixpackdads.com, the number 6packdads.com. And I think right now there's a waiting list for the next cohort. I'm going to have my new VSL up there soon. If you can scroll down, you can see all the testimonials, the videos, and all of that. My personal site is ethanking.com. I'm sure it'll be in the show notes, but ethanking.com, where you can see my other businesses and all the stuff I'm up to. I'm super passionate about helping entrepreneurs optimize their life and their style and their overall lifestyle. So, follow me on Instagram, ethanking.com, Facebook, find me wherever. All the links are on my website though, ethanking.com.
Perfect. We'll make sure you guys, if you're paying attention, I'm going to be going over there, checking out sixpackdads.com. I think that's one of the coolest things in the world, ethanking.com. We'll put this in the show notes so that you guys can see it, and make sure to go check it out. This is super, super cool and super inspiring. My last question for you, Ethan, was the One Funnel Away challenge worth the $100?
Oh man, it's worth, man. I think about how much money how much money I spent on college and those student loans, those thousands and thousands of painful dollars. And this $100 that I paid for One Funnel Away is worth so much more than that. I mean, I can't even put into words how valuable this $100 investment is. You get so much return out of it if you just are all in and you actually do the work. But the cost of it is just negligible. It's so worth the investment. Just do it.
I love it, man. I love it. You guys heard it from him. It's not from me. It's easy to hear from me because, ClickFunnels pays your bills, Shane. No, duh. You're going to say that. No, like this. Ethan's a customer who came through, did it. He's seen success. He's running other businesses, doing his digital stuff. Now he figured out a way to get it done. And that is inspiring. So, Ethan, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us and sharing your story here on the podcast, man. It's been awesome talking with you.
Yeah, it's been great. Thanks a lot, Shane.
Absolutely. For those out there listening, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, share it with any friends and family. And again, go check out Ethan's website. You got sixpackdads.com as well as ethanking.com. And if you guys want to take the One Funnel Away challenge yourselves, go to onefunnelaway.com. We got another one starting soon. Take care. If you want to be part of the journey and create your own story that can be shared just like this one, then sign up at onefunnelaway.com to get started with the next One Funnel Away challenge. We have a new challenge coming up very soon, and we want you to be part of it. This is where you'll learn the strategies and build the foundations of funnel building, along with understanding the basic principles of traffic so you can fill your funnels with paying clients. The coolest part, we do this all in 30 days time. It doesn't matter if you're an established business owner, a 9-to-5 worker looking for additional income, an affiliate marketer, or someone who's completely new to the entrepreneurial game. It doesn't matter. Regardless of where you're coming from, you need to be here in order to take yourself to the next level. So again, head over to onefunnelaway.com to sign up, and we'll see you in the challenge.